Welcome to the TPC Desktop video series. In this video, we want to look at a couple of new drawing setting features in TPC Desktop 2017. I've just created a real small survey here with some tangents, a scale bar, and a title block. And I'm going to zoom into the parts here that I want to just focus on for this survey. I've set this drawing to a scale of 50 feet per inch. And I can see that I've got a line here that's 208.41 feet long. I've got my scale bar that shows an inch at 50 and 2 inches at 100. And then we've got the scales per inch here in the title block. And the scales per inch is actually a variable. If you look in closely here, you'll see the $ scale per inch. So Traverse PC is going to take whatever the scale per inch of the drawing is and display it here for us. We don't have to manually type it in each time. So the new features in 2017 are here in the drawing settings dialog. And I want to show you that for a long time we've been able to turn on distance units. And if I apply that, I've turned off the little feet that it's showing here. And I would set this in the program settings back on the desktop. And if I wanted to turn those on, I would just say I want distance units and apply those, and it would turn on feet or FT if I wanted to type that in as the distance units. But what I'm going to do here real quickly is that I want to show you how this works if I want to switch units in Traverse PC. We just added VERAs for some of our Texas users. So I could come down and say I want VERAs. And for the units, I want to put a VS in there. That's what I want to designate for VERAs. So I'm going to apply. And now I take a look at this distance over here, and I see that that same distance is the equivalent of 75.03 VS. There's my VERAs in there. And every distance label, whether it's a line label like this or a curve label that might be a radius or a long chord or an arc length, is going to display VERAs with a VS after it. Now here's the part that I think is just kind of fun with this. We added a new option called Apply Units to Scale. And I'm going to click that on. And I see right away that the scale for the drawing changed to 18 VERAs per inch. So 50 feet per inch at this VERA factor is 18 VERAs per inch. Now watch what happens when I apply that to the drawing. A couple of things that are really, really neat. It didn't change the line labels. That's still 75.03 VS VERAs. But look what happened to my scale bar. I now have 18 VERAs per inch, 32 VERAs per 2 inches. So I've converted the units on the scale bar and used this new distance units in the scale bar. Look down here at my scales per inch in the title block. It now tells me I've got 18 VERAs per inch. It uses the VERAs because that's the name of the factor I selected here in the Traverse drawing settings. And it uses that same VERAs per inch here in the title block, also up here in the scale bar. So let's go ahead and OK this. And I can see that now I've got 18 VERAs per inch. In fact, all of the scales are VERAs per inch. So if I want to make this 20 VERAs per inch, okay, I've just changed the scale of the drawing, but I've changed it in VERAs, not feet. So now my scale is 20 VERAs to the inch, and my scale bar is updated automatically. My title block is updated automatically, and this has basically stayed the same here. Now VERAs are a Texas unit. But what happens if I come in and just kind of reset all this here? Take this out, apply that. So everything's kind of back the way it was. And let's go ahead and just put in 50 feet to the inch here. And we'll apply that. Let's change to a different factor. Let's change to a factor of poles, for instance. Okay, so a pole is 16.5 feet per inch. And let's do the same thing again here. Let's say I want to do distance units, and I want to put a small p for poles there. Let's go ahead and apply that. So now here's my equivalent distance of 12.63 p for poles. Let's apply the units to scale. So now I've got a scale of 3.03 poles per inch. And I might want to say, let's just round that off to 3 poles per inch and apply that to the drawing. So now in my drawing, I can see that I haven't changed the label, still 12.63 poles, but I have changed the scale bar that now shows me 1 inch is 3 poles, 2 inches is 6 poles. My title block shows me 3 poles per inch. And if I OK this, so I can pull down the scale bar, my scale is now poles per inch all the way down the scale. So I can do 10 poles per inch, 5 poles per inch, or enter my own scale numbers here simply by choosing Tools, Scale List, and I can come in and add a new one or remove any that are here that I don't want to use. So just a real neat way that Traverse PC takes all that busy work of units per inch, and with the new settings here in the drawing settings, I can have Traverse PC carry those units all the way through the labels, the scale bars, the title blocks. Pretty neat stuff here.